Flashpoint. As UN workers evacuate East Timor, is the United States preparing an international rescue mission if the massacre doesn't stop? Incoming, a powerful new hurricane, Floyd. It takes aim at the U.S. Forecasters say it could be stronger than Dennis. Outbreak, 3 dead. New fears of dozens more infected with a rare disease from a common pest. The war on the mosquito. And in depth tonight, it's come to this. Schools using FBI techniques to identify kids who could be ticking time bombs.
From NBC News World Headquarters in New York, this is NBC Nightly News with Tom Brokaw.
Good evening. Tonight, the tiny province of East Timor in the Indonesian island chain is an international flashpoint involving the United States. At the White House and the Pentagon, at the United Nations, and in capitals throughout Asia, there's a full-court press on the government of Indonesia to invite a UN force to stop the massacre in East Timor, which recently voted for independence from Indonesia. If the government in Jakarta resists, there may be a rescue mission led by Australia with U.S. assistance. We begin at the White House tonight with NBC's David Bloom. And David, this has become a full-blown crisis.
Indeed, Tom, the hope here at the White House is that the Indonesian government, under coercion, will agree to those international peacekeepers. But NBC News has learned that the alternative, if the violence does not stop, is for the Australians to lead an international rescue mission with U.S. military support. The president, arriving in New Zealand for an economic summit, today harshly criticized the Indonesian government, saying in a written statement, quote, "It is now clear that the Indonesian military is aiding and abetting the militia violence. This is simply unacceptable," Mr. Clinton said, demanding that the Indonesians stop the violence and allow an international peacekeeping force into East Timor. But on Capitol Hill, even reliable supporters of the Clinton administration, such as Democratic Congressman Barney Frank, criticized the U.S. for not making it clear to the Indonesian government earlier that violence against pro-independence forces in East Timor is unacceptable.
And the signals they have been sending have been ambivalent at best.
And even now, the White House refuses to cut off U.S. economic aid and stop commercial military sales to Indonesia for fear of losing all influence in Jakarta.
The Chief of Pacific Fleet, Admiral Blair, was supposed to have warned the Indonesian military they needed to cut their ties. Instead, there are indications that he largely reassured them of continued close cooperation with the United States, which many in the Indonesian military could have taken as a green light.
But sources say earlier this week, Admiral Blair explicitly warned Indonesia's military leaders that their continued refusal to allow an international peacekeeping force would be, quote, impossible to explain, turning Indonesia into a, quote, pariah state, condemned at the UN, shunned by international capital flows, and cut off from international assistance. All of which would make the White House's support for a rescue mission, again led by the Australians, that much greater, sources say. Tonight, those sources say that Admiral Blair, in his meeting earlier this week with the Indonesian military, laid down the gauntlet, but they were, quote, not receptive to an international peacekeeping force. Again, a rescue mission, sources say, might be in the works. Tom?
Thanks very much, NBC David Bloom. It's worth remembering that Indonesia is the world's 4th most populous nation and a critical part of Southeast Asia. Most of the UN workers caught in the chaos of East Timor have seen enough. Tonight, all but a few are evacuating to safety. Those are the UN workers. Also tonight, from inside and out, there is more new pressure on the Indonesian government to stop the violence. NBC's Ned Cole tonight is in Jakarta.
A sense of sadness and relief today outside the UN compound in Dili as 350 UN workers say goodbye to the skeleton staff staying behind. For the last 6 days, the compound has been a safe house, not only for the UN, but 1,000 refugees driven from their homes by violent militias. Today, on the drive to the airport, guarded by the Indonesian army, they saw for the first time a city in ruins. These are the lucky evacuated to safety in Australia.
I was thinking to myself when we thought we were coming out, you know, all I'm facing is a hairy ride to the airport. They're probably facing death.
A quarter of East Timor's population, 200,000, are on the run. In this smuggled video, refugees seeking shelter in the hills. There are reports one group is being singled out in this predominantly Muslim country, Catholics. A week ago, this church was a sanctuary. Now, we're at 100 people massacred here.
We have reports which are reasonably reliable that there are in circulation lists of nuns and priests, death lists.
Today, UN Secretary General Kofi Annan gave Indonesia an ultimatum: accept a peacekeeping force or face the consequences.
If it refuses to do so, it cannot escape the responsibility for what could amount, according to reports reaching us, to crimes against humanity.
While the Indonesian government is coming under increasing international pressure, it's also facing mounting criticisms at home. Protests are becoming a daily occurrence. Rumors of a coup are constant. President Habibie, more and more, seems like a man on the way out, with the military calling all the shots.
Nobody rules Indonesia. It's a jet plane on autopilot, and everybody is just fighting in the passenger cabin.
The anarchy has destroyed East Timor and is now touching off a political firestorm in Indonesia. Ned Cole, NBC News, Jakarta.
11 Puerto Rican nationalists are free in this country tonight after they're out of prison after a controversial pardon offer that became a political controversy for Hillary Clinton in her run for the Senate from New York. The men and women released tonight have been held for some 20 years in connection with a wave of bombings. All have signed a pledge renouncing violence, but critics continue to accuse the Clinton administration of being soft on terrorism. Still ahead tonight, NBC News in depth. As kids go back to school, the FBI teaches the teachers how to make this year safer than last year.
If we have youngsters who need help, we can get them that help before they ever do anything that causes any problems.
Educators learning FBI techniques to protect kids in school. Will this work? We'll have some answers in depth. And up next, invasion, hurricanes, and helicopters taking to the skies to wipe out mosquitoes carrying a deadly disease. What's going on?
It's time for your heartburn to kick in because your heartburn relief gave out. It happens 2 or more days a week, even though you've treated it and changed your diet. That frequent, persistent heartburn may be due to acid reflux disease, potentially serious.
It's Prilosec time. Time to see your doctor about prescription Prilosec. Your results may vary, but for many people, Prilosec provides 24 hours of complete heartburn relief with 1 daily dose. Ask your doctor for more information about Prilosec and if it's right for you. The most common side effects are headache, diarrhea, and abdominal pain. 24 hours of complete heartburn relief is possible. It's Prilosec time.
You've dreamed of opening your own place. Now stay healthy and energetic and enjoy it. Give your life a silver lining with Centrum Silver. Its age-essential nutrients may help maintain your immunity and help keep your heart healthy. Give your life a silver lining with Centrum Silver.
You can buy a Gateway Essential PC for $999, or you can buy a PC from a bargain basement company for $499. Then add a monitor, lots of software, 24/7 tech support, a year on the internet, and end up paying over $1,200. With Gateway, you'll get all that, and you still end up paying $999. Which one's the real bargain? Call 1-800-GATEWAY for a Gateway Essential PC with an Intel Celeron processor.
Love at first sight. What's that based on? Have you ever looked at someone and said, check her out, she looks loyal? Or, whoa, look at the morals on that guy. No, love at first sight is based on something else. Sight. Introducing the all-new 2000 Mitsubishi Eclipse. Nicely equipped at 17.7. You'll even love what's on the inside.
Dateline Friday, baby Sabrina.
This morning, someone came into our home and took our baby Sabrina.
Missing from her crib in the middle of the night. Almost 2 years later, her parents are now charged with lying to investigators. But what next? Will this bring us any closer to finding out what really happened to baby Sabrina? Dateline Friday, 9/8 Central.
Just as the forecasters predicted, this is shaping up as a mean season for hurricanes. Tonight, Hurricane Floyd, hard on the heels of Hurricane Dennis, is churning across the Caribbean. Here's NBC's Robert Hager.
Alarm tonight from North Carolina's Outer Banks, where they just reopened the road after the last storm. to Miami's South Beach.
It's a big hassle for us. We have to shut down. The restaurant loses a lot of money.
Nothing here. Look, there's no mountains. Nowhere to hide. You got to go.
Warnings up already for the Caribbean's Leeward Islands, more than 1,000 miles from the U.S. coast, but headed our way.
At this moment, we think that we're concerned about everybody from even South Florida through the Carolinas.
Jerry Gerald, director of the National Hurricane Center, warns this could be a big one.
You have the weekend available to be sure that everything is in place, and don't waste it. Taking the proper precautions can save your life or the life of your family, so be ready to do it.
A hurricane hunting plane like this in the storm now. Another flew all night, out from St. Croix, through the calm eye at the center, through the cloud wall of high wind around the eye, and the outer bands of rain, zigzagging through 4 times, clocking one gust northeast of the eye at 101 miles an hour. Where's it go from here?
So Sunday we're going to have a strong Category 2 hurricane, perhaps even a Category 3, east of the Bahamas, in a position to strike almost any part of the East Coast.
Powerful. Category 3, more than 110 miles an hour. Category 4, more than 130. And what then? High pressure could keep the storm headed toward Florida's north coast about Tuesday. Or a front may blow it north into the Carolinas at midweek.
For now, too early to tell, but could be the biggest threat yet, coming at the very peak of a hurricane season, forecast to be a bad one.
Already Hurricane Brett inundating Texas, Hurricane Dennis eroding mid-Atlantic coast, now Floyd, and further out what could become Tropical Storm Gert. And the highest risk period for hurricanes still has more than a month to go. Robert Hager, NBC News, Washington.
And with these recent rains along the eastern seaboard came an invasion of mosquitoes, not just the normal nuisance mosquitoes. These pests are a deadly health threat. Some of them are carrying encephalitis. There's a war on tonight. We get the latest from NBC's Bob Fall.
With 3 deaths from encephalitis confirmed tonight in New York City, there's a new refrain all along the eastern seaboard. Let us spray. Maryland, afflicted with 58 varieties of mosquito, spraying up to 50,000 acres of marshland at a cost of almost $2 million. In New York City, low-flying helicopters carpet bomb with the pesticide malathion. City health workers go door to door distributing information after stockpiling insecticide and applying it liberally themselves. The target, a creature that lives for barely 10 days and that's generally considered a nuisance when it lands on humans 10 times a minute. Now
we have populations that are, as far as a landing rate count, anywhere from 50 to 100 per minute.
A swarm on Maryland's eastern shore reporting its worst mosquito problem in 10 years, largely because the drought killed off some mosquito predators like dragonflies, and because all the parched ground gave mosquitoes more room to deposit their eggs. Ideal breeding conditions after recent heavy rainfalls.
The water level rises, inundates the eggs hatch, and they're in an environment which is virtually predator-free.
It's happened not just in Maryland, but in the Midwest. Mosquito eradication efforts stepped up in Peoria and in the Minneapolis area.
Mosquitoes are big enough here, they can pick you up and fly away.
Health experts agree the infestation is still mostly a nuisance, except for the elderly who are more at risk for encephalitis.
I think the best thing for people to do is not to panic.
New York City's mayor also argued the situation is under control.
We're very, very close now to setting a record for killing the most mosquitoes, and I fully expect a demonstration at any time from some group that's in favor of mosquitoes.
For now, though, says the mayor, speaking for all infested areas, the more dead mosquitoes, the better. Bob Fall, NBC News, Washington.
This is a public health danger that you don't expect in urban America at the end of the 20th century, encephalitis from mosquitoes. And while authorities are trying to keep the lid on anxieties, New Yorkers with mosquito bites are taking no chances. NBC's chief medical correspondent is Robert Bazell.
For Chris Santeria and his family from Queens, a time of intense anxiety as he awaits tests on his spinal fluid to find out whether a mosquito bite infected him with the deadly St. Louis encephalitis virus.
Just waiting for, thinking about it. It like drives you crazy.
High fever and chills struck the 16-year-old on Thursday. When his mother noticed a bite on his leg, she called an ambulance that rushed him to the hospital. Doctors cannot take chances.
Obviously, the virus enters the bloodstream through the mosquito bite. It travels quickly to the brain. It can actually invade the brain tissue, the brain cells, and be toxic to them.
Only 1 in 300 people bitten by an infected mosquito gets sick. But if symptoms do appear, they usually start 5 to 15 days after the bite. They can include headache, fever, stiff neck, confusion, and convulsions. The species of mosquito that carry the deadly virus appears throughout the country, but most outbreaks are tiny, killing a few people a year in Florida, Texas, Louisiana, and other southern states. So why a big outbreak now in New York City, where the disease has never struck before?
Don't know the answer to that. It's a complete mystery.
As they try to solve the puzzle, scientists like Dr. Ned Walker will closely look at small birds like sparrows, which often carry the virus. Usually, birds and mosquitoes pass the virus back and forth as the mosquito bites the birds. Then sometimes, suddenly, the mosquitoes start transmitting the virus to people. Why does it happen? One clue, the weather.
You can't rule out the possibility that things like this are related to global climate change phenomena like increases in temperature.
A big question tonight, is the encephalitis limited to the New York area or part of a larger regional outbreak? Health officials across the country are closely monitoring birds and people to find the answer. Robert Bazell, NBC News, New York.
In another part of New York City, it was a mixed day on Wall Street today. Financial stocks pulled the Dow down almost 51 points. Technology stocks, however, extended yesterday's rally, boosting the NASDAQ a little more than 35 points, a record close for that market. For the week, the Dow lost 50 points. NASDAQ gained almost 44 points for the week. Up next, NBC News in depth. School officials learning FBI profiling to try to identify kids before they turn violent. And later, Friday night in Texas, warm-ups, cheers, and a prayer, the big game. What's wrong with this picture, according to the federal courts?
Raisin Bran, huh?
Yeah. Hey, what's going on?
That Raisin Bran has less than half your folic acid for the day. Even less of your zinc.
That's a weenie breakfast, Frank.
There's almost no vitamin E at all. Looks like you need total Raisin Bran. Just one bowl gives you 100% of 10 important vitamins and minerals you need for the day. No other Raisin Bran comes close.
Attaboy, Frank.
And there's room for my spoon.
Total Raisin Bran, total cornflakes. What are you getting for breakfast?
Brooks Brothers Eyewear by Luxottica. What do you want people to see?
I want you to see wisdom. You're a lucky man.
I want you to see that tradition doesn't have to be traditional.
Ask for the latest Brooks Brothers styles by Luxottica.
I work out to keep my body in shape. To help keep my mind sharp, I take Quantera Ginkgo biloba. It helps me concentrate, maintain focus. Why Quantera? All ginkgos aren't the same. The patented Quantera extract was proven safe and effective by doctors in extensive clinical trials. And it increases oxygen supply to the brain. With Quantera mental sharpness, I feel my best. Naturally.
Now, save $7 on Quantera Herbals. Look for your coupon and refund in Sunday's paper.
Chevy Tahoe, like a rock.
Great meal. Uh-oh, gas pressure. What now? What else? Gas X, with the most powerful medicine for fast relief. Nothing works faster. Hey, want to go for ice cream? Gas X, the power to fight gas fast.
Now our first denture cleanser keeps dentures feeling clean all day. New Fix-It-Dent with ProGuard, a breakthrough tablet and bath system. First, place your dentures into the bath and release the power of ProGuard to get them 4 times cleaner. Then you lift the inner basket to help seal in the clean with the ProGuard barrier, protecting against plaque and odor-causing bacteria from morning till night. Fix-It-Dent with ProGuard. Start cleaner, stay cleaner.
Sunday, the race for the White House. Will Pat Buchanan leave the GOP? And John McCain, why he should be president. Plus, Madeline and Carville on Hillary and Bill on Meet the Press.
It's Like Today, only later. Later today, weekdays on NBC.
NBC News in depth tonight as most kids across this country headed back to school this week. The FBI has been helping educators learn how to head off school violence. In a series of meetings, experts in spotting troubled individuals are showing teachers how to use those skills in the classroom. Can that help cut down school violence? NBC's Lisa Myers tonight, in depth.
It's the science of catching a killer. Captured serial killer Arthur Shawcross. He murdered 11 women. Captured serial killer Wayne Williams, blamed for murdering 24 children. It's called profiling, designed by the FBI to stop the worst of the worst. It also is used to spot potential terrorists at airports, drug dealers at the border. Now that same practice is being used in an unlikely place, schools, to spot children who might become violent and pick up a gun. At the FBI conference, a profiler, expert at getting into the minds of murderers, says the FBI is now studying school shooters.
One of the problems we're finding is that these are adolescents and the behavior is constantly changing. They're trying on new clothes, new music, new language.
Still, there are characteristics, warning signs, excessive feelings of isolation, rejection, persecution, angry outbursts, attraction to violent games or music, aggressive or violent acts, threats, or thoughts. A national school safety official says profiling is topic A among school administrators coast to coast.
Just that great anxiety because what we have learned in these last 5 events is that instead of the villain coming from without the school in, they were already within the building.
Even though the worst school violence on record in Wallingford, Connecticut is only a fistfight, teachers here will begin using a profile to identify students prone to violence.
If we have youngsters who need help, we can get them that help before they ever do anything that causes any problems.
But does profiling work? School officials in Granite City, Illinois say so far, yes. They began using the checklist of warning signs after the shootings in Jonesboro, Arkansas. The result? They identified a troubled teenager who had access to guns at home.
That student is now getting the help that he needs to deal with anger. The guns have been removed from the home.
Still, critics warn that profiling is not a magic cure, and that students who are different are not necessarily dangerous. Some charge that in the panic over safety, students' rights are being trampled.
It's unfair to students to stereotype them and to say because they have something in common with other students who have in fact committed violent crimes, that therefore they themselves are likely to commit a crime.
The FBI's advice, intervene early, because without help, the youngster who attacks other kids on a bus today could become tomorrow's school shooter. Lisa Myers, NBC News, Washington.
I'll be right back. Football and religion. Who's telling Texans those two don't mix?
Fortunately for Millie, Dr. Espinoza was in the office early, while someone else was drafting the marketing plan to sell his home. At 11, he was making his rounds, instead of visiting his title company. At 1 p.m., he was giving Pam good news, instead of checking for disclosure documents. And by the time Dr. Espinoza wrote the day's last prescription, someone else was at his home meeting a prospective buyer. You've got a life. We let you live it. We're realtors. Real estate is our life.
Do you need fast allergy relief? Then you need the power of Zyrtec. Prescription Zyrtec starts working fast and lasts 24 hours. In studies, drowsiness was the most common side effect. Others included fatigue and dry mouth. Most were mild or moderate. To learn more about Zyrtec, ask your doctor or pharmacist. So when you need fast allergy relief, remember the power of Zyrtec.
Got heartburn up in your chest and throat? Only Gaviscon Liquid forms a soothing, protective barrier that helps keep acid down, something Maalox and Mylanta can't do. Gaviscon Liquid. It helps keep acid down where it belongs.
One word convinced me an herbal could help me maintain emotional balance. Centrum.
Centrum St. John's wort is different. Some brands can lack natural ingredients. Only Centrum uses Pharmaprint for a more complete herbal every time. Centrum herbals, each naturally more complete.
Last year, more people who owned a GM car or truck came back to buy another GM. More than any other company in America. It's the highest loyalty in the industry. which speaks not only to the quality of GM cars and trucks, but to the people who drive them.
Now an important tool to defend yourself against heart disease and some cancers is in your hands. Because now studies confirm that eating whole grain foods like Total, Wheaties, and Cheerios as part of a low-fat diet may reduce your risk of heart disease and certain cancers. Most cereals are not whole grain, but all of these from General Mills are. Look for this seal to be sure and help defend yourself against heart disease and cancer.
Just ahead at 6, fueled by a string of brush fires, Middle Tennessee's water shortage is reaching crisis proportions. Tonight, important information about how you can help and when we might expect some relief. Plus, the debut of Speaker's Corner at the State Fair. We'll show you what all the excitement is about. Scene at 6 is next.
It's Friday night. It's game night for thousands of high school football teams across the country and in the state of Texas, where high school football is practically a major religion. This year, the usual pregame ceremonies have aroused not only the fans, but also the federal courts. Is it legal for prayer to be part of the game plan? Here's NBC Jim Cummins.
Friday night in Texas at more than 700 football fields from big cities to small towns. The marching band plays, the players take the field, and then everybody stops for a moment to pray. Here in tiny Salina, G.A. Moore, head coach of the hometown Bobcats, leads the faithful.
And I pray that you just have a special blessing to each one of these boys.
But perhaps Moore should pray for a good lawyer, because now with every moment of worship, he could be breaking the law. A federal court has ruled pregame prayers here in Texas are unconstitutional, violating the separation of church and state. Here in the Bible Belt, where football is the other religion, many suspect the prayer ban is the work of the devil.
To tell somebody they can't pray is just wrong. I'm sorry.
So they ignore the ruling or work around it. In Salina, they unplug the school's public address system and use the PA from a local Baptist church instead. The American Civil Liberties Union says it has received many complaints from Texas parents about pregame prayers. The ACLU says the court ruling means that school districts may never promote, sponsor, or endorse prayer at sporting events. That means faculty or students. Fighting back, Marion Ward, daughter of a Baptist minister, went to court and won a temporary ruling allowing her to offer a prayer at the high school game in Santa Fe, a small town south of Houston.
I pray that you'll bless each and every person here tonight, especially those involved in the game. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
The fans loved it.
Our country was founded on Christian values and principles, and it's good to uphold them here.
But down the road in Abilene, no prayer. Perhaps a moment of silence or a religious hymn played by the marching band. But no worship. Abilene School Superintendent Charles Hunley explains why.
We received an order from the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals, and whether we agree with it or not, I'm not in the position to pick and choose the laws that we carry out in the school district.
The next step in Texas, an appeal to the U.S. Supreme Court with Governor George Bush on their side. They want the nation's highest court to let them pray to an even higher authority before the kickoff every Friday night. Jim Cummins, NBC News, Dallas.
That is Nightly News for this Friday night. Don't forget Dateline tonight at 9, 8 Central. I'm Tom Brokaw. I'll see you back here Monday night.
Nightly News is a presentation of NBC News. More Americans watch NBC News than any other news organization in the world.
If they can't cram you, they'll slam you. A consumer warning tonight about contest fraud to help you save your money and worry. Details coming your way right now on the Scene at 6.
I'm Mike Machak, live in Clarksville. Find out what the experts here are saying, why Paul Dennis Reed should not go on trial now for double murder. New details coming up.
Also, unless we get some measurable rain soon, the drought in Middle Tennessee will only get worse. The latest, plus why there may be some relief on way for the state's farmers. All right now on The Scene at 6.